What up, guys and girls? Another brand new video coming at you today. Yes, we are back again for another round of the Race Spec F1 Esports Pacific Series Tin 1 on the PlayStation 4. We're here, as you can see by the lobby settings, we're here for round number 5 here at the Spanish Grand Prix. As we just get ourselves loaded into here. But first things first, obviously, if you haven't seen the previous episode, which was the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, that probably wouldn't recommend you see it unless you really want to, then go check it out. There's always, you'll be able to check it out at the end of this video as well. Plus all the other videos that have come out from the Race Spec Esports Series with Australia and Bahrain. There's the championship standings on your screen right at this point. I think Revolution leads by like 13 points, I think it is. McLaren have a 4-point lead over Ferrari. Williams are down in P7. There's the overall standings. Obviously, we're still inside the top 10. I don't know how we are. And there's the squad championship at the moment with Mercedes, Ferrari equal on points, with Williams still pretty decent on in position number 4. Now, first things first, get a few things straight out of the way straight away. You will remember, if you think back to Azerbaijan, I did mention in the video that I was obviously taken to the stewards by Spilly for what happened down at turn 2 in Azerbaijan, and as a result of which, obviously, I got the penalty, which really, to be honest, it was expected, to be honest. So wasn't really surprised, but 10-second time penalty. I think there's like a penalty point added to my sort of like racing license, you could say. I think if you get to a certain point with the points system, then you'll obviously get, I think it goes qualifying ban, race ban, and then maybe an overall ban itself from the league, that's the last thing I want to happen. But yeah, I mean, fair call. I copped the penalty. That was all my doing there. So, I mean, probably pointless considering where I ended up finishing in the Grand Prix. But anyway, here we are in Spain. It's a pretty wet start, actually. Rarely have I seen races in the wet here in Spain. Never rains in Spain, pardon the pun. Anyway, so obviously this has sort of thrown the strategy sort of somewhat out the window a little bit here. As you can see, we're just about to complete our first flying lap here. There's a few guys that set early runs at the moment here. Zach Crichton, I think, currently leads the way, but we jump into position 11 onto the track here. And what was it? I don't remember my times here. It's a 31.07. So, I mean, it wasn't the quickest lap overall, but what you're seeing now is actually my fastest lap overall. And I would obviously explain what occurred and what happened during the later laps anyway. So round we go through turn 3 and up into turn 4. Had a nice little sideways moment coming out of turn 2 there, which would have cost me a little bit of time there. Now going into turn 5, just holding into 5th gear, because obviously if you hold it up into like 6th gear, I felt like you'd probably lose the back end or something coming into when you shift down gears. So that's probably my reasoning, is staying in sort of the higher gears. Probably learned from some other fellow YouTubers. There's Shumbo, I think it was, just getting out of the road there in the Alfa Romeo. But anyway, flying through turn 9 onto the second so-called DRS straight. But obviously no DRS because it is wet. And now into the tricky section here of a turn 11. Didn't really take too much curve because wasn't sure whether this wet weather would play effect. As another racing point, there was XJ Schmidt there, I think it was, just pulling out of the road there. And then into the tricky slow part of the section here, 14 and 15, just running out a little bit wide there. And just make sure we don't get on the power too early. Now we can floor it. Across the line. We jump up into P8 on that lap time with a 1 minute 30.599, I think it was. Yes, it would have to be, so put us in P8. It was at one point, I was up at least 6/10 up. I think it was more towards the end of the lap, but obviously I lost it a bit further on.
The weather is going to dry up in about 5 minutes. Inters seem like the fastest tyre for now.
That's interesting as well, because the weather, did ask Jeff about what the weather conditions were going to be like, and I think I did check the weather as well pre-going out of this, but there is potential for the weather to subside here as we're trying to improve on our lap here, but instead we're going a bit drifting through turns 2 and 3 there. I was about 2/10 up, I think it was, at the time. No, sorry, nearly 3/10 up, I should say, but in the end, I pretty much lost it all when when it started drifting.
Looks like we'll be running on a dry track soon. Back to dry shortly.
Yeah, so it's not, hopefully it can dry up pretty quickly so we can get on to possibly a set of the medium compacted tyres, because literally strategy around here is pretty simple with the one stop. I think it is going to be dry in the race as well, but here we go for another crack here. We get a little bit sideways coming out of turn 3 there. Again, up about 0.2 of a second there. We're, where were we? About nearly a tenth up on our previous lap time here, but coming into turn 5, I just locked the rears, I think, or locked the fronts actually, and then just lose it coming around the corner there, and yeah, that's pretty much, I just lost all my momentum there, and yeah, just pretty much had to back out of it there as we let Toas Rudianz through there. I think I let him, oh sorry, he might have let me go there, so sort of thought I'd pay back the favour there, but anyway, we drive our way back into the pit lane, and I think we're just going to pretty much wait it out here, and hopefully the weather will subside a bit later on. But here's a replay on board with Plebs in the Renault, and is he coming through turn 3? Is he going to go for a spin? Yes, he will. Not quite the full 360. I'd probably say maybe 180 or just a tiny bit more, but thankfully nobody else was around on the minimap at the time, and he could make his way back onto the track. As you can see, that was the weather conditions there. So at the moment, Zach Crichton still leads the way over Swaggy and X Revolution there. My teammate Toddy's doing a pretty decent job.
Quick lap times are now being posted. It's getting faster out there.
He's currently position 6 there, but obviously just literally just waiting it out, and keeping an eye on, like, if any drivers, as you can see, Aaron's the only one that hasn't set a lap time there in position 20 there. But just sort of keeping an eye on whether the conditions were going to dry up, as here goes Swaggy, literally shortcutting the chicane part of that there. A little bit cheeky, you could say, from Swaggy. But anyway, we're just obviously getting ourselves ready up onto the medium compacted tyres. Kept a little bit of fuel up my sleeve just in case we bug it up the first time lap, because I think he can do at least a couple of time laps on the medium compacted tyres, and also just checking the race director there, just seeing whether anybody was taking the gamble at this stage, but not at this stage, and obviously get the warning there saying like it's unsuitable tyre warning, but I was literally just going to give this one a crack here, and considering where we are placed at the moment, which we'll check once we leave the garage here and the graphics show up, I think we've really dropped down the order a little bit here, so you can see we're down in P13 here, and it looks like our provisional pole sitter at the moment looks like Zach Crichton's also going to be jumping on the medium compacted tyres. And correct me, but I think I may be one of the first ones that was on the medium compacted tyres. I'm not entirely sure, but you can see there's quite a few others. There's a couple of I think both the Toro Rossos were still on their laps on the intermediate tyres. But yes, it's just sort of like getting a feel here, and obviously just trying to warm up the tyres as quickly as I could. But just the conditions didn't possibly feel like they were quite ready enough yet, so we're going to stick aboard here for the lap, and you'll understand what I mean by what I was saying that the track, I didn't feel like at the time possibly was quite ready enough for these sort of tyres here. So here we go on the front straight here. Obviously don't get the DRS yet, because I don't think it's actually been enabled at this point in time. So I think Zach's gone back onto intermediate tyres. We lock up going down into turn 1. Now DRS gets enabled as someone has run very wide there. I'll get my words right in a minute. That was Banana Cake Pie in the Red Bull, going very wide there as well. Also, if anyone was wondering as well, there's been a few changes up and down the grid as well in the terms of like driver movements. I think it was going into this event or something or other, as we run very wide there, which kind of lost me a heap of time. But there was a few drivers that were either moved down to tier 2 and some moved up to tier 1. So if anyone was wondering if there's going to be any more sideshow footage from him, unfortunately he's dropped back to tier 2. So if you want to go check his point of views out anyway, obviously you can check out the previous videos and go check out his channel here, but you can see we're literally, I think, 1.1 seconds way off the pace here at the moment. It's just didn't feel right at all. Just maybe the time wasn't right, or maybe I should have just waited until like literally the last like minute or two to go out here. As you can see, that's a terrible run coming through the chicane there. That was absolutely horrible. But yeah, this lap is just pretty much a write-off here, and I was not overly happy with that lap at all. I was just literally furious with myself at this time. I thought, there's just no way that this track is ready enough. But the funny thing is, for some other guys that decided to have a crack on the mediums, it actually worked out better for them. As you can see here, Zach Crichton comes across the line, and actually he does improve and stays on provisional pole position. But my teammate actually does a decent job as well, jumps himself up into position 2. Jay Schmidt as well, late on in the piece, actually jumped into P3. So it was definitely, like I said, right at the last second when the dries sort of came into their own here. So Zach gets pole position with a 29.021, just ahead of a teammate. Not by much in the end, but it was a decent effort by Toddy in the end to get on the front row. Jay Schmidt was the other one on the medium compounded tyres, and then you can see the rest there on the intermediates. But we finish up in P14, so not a great qualifying session. So let's go to the race.
Don't go overly aggressive into turn 1. There'll be a lot of heavy braking, and the cars will be extremely close together.
Thank you, Jeff, as always. So welcome to the grid, guys and girls, for the Spanish Grand Prix. Like I said, starting from position number 14 here, as you probably, something you didn't probably notice as well, that Shumbo actually left, I think, during qualifying, from memory. I think he's been having a few internet issues yet again. But you see, I had to quickly rush through this set up quickly because someone was very keen to get this race going. But we're going to start on the hard compounded tyres and go on to the medium compounded tyres. But considering what had occurred the last time out in Azerbaijan, and by the looks of this, it looks like we may have another glitched lobby here. But we'll wait to see if anybody just leaves the grid here in a moment or two. And yes, someone does, and one of the Ferraris is leaving the grid, and one of the Haas is behind. I'm not sure exactly which one. I think, and one of the Renaults. There goes the Toro Rosso. I think possibly the top, either the top two or the pole sitter. I know for sure definitely left the grid. So unfortunately, we had another glitched lobby yet again. So I don't know what it is with these Codemasters games, but it's either someone leaves during qualifying or someone joins during qualifying, and then it manages to stuff up the lobby some way, shape or form. But obviously we had to restart the lobby as per usual. So it took probably similar to what it was the last time. Might have been like 10, 15 minutes, maybe it might have been 20 minutes. I'm not entirely sure here. This is obviously recorded a fair while ago, but thankfully, we got ourselves back in, and we're going to get going here on the formation lap here. So CurvingTexas is really wanting to get going here as he decides to go through eye contrast there in the Ferrari. But finally, we're off for the formation lap.
Everything looks good on the power unit cycle, so let's concentrate on bringing tyres and brakes up to temperature.
Thank you, Jeff, as always. Now, obviously, Contrast is a reserve driver. He's filling in, I think, for 40, who, from memory, I think because of the big rain that was happening, I think, during this event, whatnot, unfortunately it knocked out his power, and I think he was out of power for quite a few days from memory. I could be completely utterly wrong here, but you can see we're just literally just trying to get every single bit of tyre temperature and grip and tyre temperature very quickly, as Pure Gold has left the session already. So, and he's starting in P10, I think he is on the grid in the Alfa Romeo. So not a great start for him, but we're starting on hards and going on to the medium tyres. That's the strategy for me especially. So fingers crossed we get going. Here we go. We're all set for round 5 of the Spanish Grand Prix. 5 red lights. Let's do it at the Barcelona de Catalunya circuit. It's decent-ish start off the line. Crossy didn't get off the line either. Obviously the ghosted car of, Pure Gold didn't get, obviously he's still going as well. His ghosted car there is, I think there's been a little bit of chaos behind, which we'll catch in the replay as well. But we've got Plebs on board as well in the top right as Pure Gold rejoins. So I think he should be able to rejoin this race. We've got a bit of attack here from Zephy in the Rich Energy Haas team, or the so-called Scam Energy Haas, whichever way you want to pronounce it here. With the, of course, it's not in the case in 2020, but up the inside here's Revolution and CurvingTexas, I think, battling away here. As we're still battling away here with Zephy alongside us here, and he's well known to lag a little bit here because I think he's from Singapore and Indonesia, or I think one of the two. But we get a lot sideways coming off turn 7 or 8. We go side by side with Crossy through turn 9. I don't think you can get 2 cars through there, but we lose a spot there, and here comes BK, who's one of the Tier 2 drivers that's actually made the jump up into Tier 1, and he's obviously onto the medium competitor tyres. I think from what I heard, BK was literally dominating the championship in Tier 2, so it had to be elevated up into Tier 1, and hence why Sideshow is obviously decided to drop back to Tier 2, because I think he wanted to have a bit more enjoyable racing, as he probably heard in the past. But Crossy comes into the pit lane there, so I'm not entirely sure. We might have missed that one somewhere along the line, but obviously he must have front wing damage here, as we are now under attack from Spilly in the racing point. And literally after from what happened the previous week, I just decided to let him go here. So I did not want to get tangled up early on here in the race. And now we're under attack from the Red Bull of Aaron, who's also on the hard compounder tyres here, but he's really right up the gearbox there, as you saw there from that rear shot there, and up the inside into turn 4, into I think it's Repsol corner, and he gets the move done. So not the greatest of starts, so we dropped a couple of spots back into position 16 in the end, but of course I wasn't getting like overly too phased with this at this stage, as Aaron gets a little bit sideways there coming up turn 9 here, but of course it is still a long race here, so I wasn't expecting a lot to happen on lap. You don't win the race on lap 1. Put it simply and basically, you don't win the race on lap 1. It's still a long race here. We start to begin lap 3. Here's Rex Revolutions now into the pit lane, and he's DRS is now enabled. Thank you, Jeff. As always, as Pure Gold has not had the greatest start, obviously disconnected and rejoined, and must have got damage somewhere along the line there. I don't know exactly what happened to him, but he's now retired from the race. I think the same Revolution's got damage, but he decided to stay on. Here's the replay on board with Zeffy, so this has all happened behind me, so I think we'll be able to see what's occurred here. Oh, okay, that's interesting, a bit of ghosting there. I don't think that's what happened on Crossy's on board there, but I think Aaron got caught up with somebody else there in front there, hence why he was pushed wide there off the road a little bit there, and I don't think he was overly too thrilled. I don't know exactly who he was tangled up with at the time there, but he was definitely not happy after that. Anyway, so here we go. Well, obviously battling side by side here with Zeffy. So he obviously gets onto the power here, and I think he'll eventually obviously get the move done here as we have that middle moment here. But you can see even through the gravel and all, he still makes the move done. So pretty nice job there in the end from Zeffy. Is back onto lap 4. Aaron having a look here at Spilly there, I think it was, in the racing point. So you probably tell now as we cut onto lap 5 that there's a few groups starting to sort of phase themselves out here, as there's a battle going on in front there. Can't work it out. It was one of the Toro Rossos. Might be Toei's Ready NZ there. Has lost a couple of spots there to as Aaron goes very well wide. Where the heck are you going? Going off to somewhere else in Spain, possibly, but it looks like for Aaron. But you see, it is Toei's in the Toro Rosso. He's lost another spot, so he's lost 3 spots there, back behind Spilly there. But we lost a bit of momentum coming through turn 7 and 8 again. So you get a little bit onto the gravel there, coming through turn 9, as Aaron has a little bit of a look just to show the nose there to Toei's, but not too phased at the current moment there. But as you can see, there's a bit more battling up in front here. I think they go 3 wide here at a turn 1. That's not ideal. Looks like BK in the Mercedes is one of their cars that was battling away. Spilly, I think, may have been caught up in that one, as now Revolution set to 21-2, I think it is, as now Aaron has a look up the inside here at BK. I think it's Zeffy that's leading this sort of battle group, you could say, and this is pretty much, like I said, all the battle groups are starting to phase out a bit more. You can see the leaders just started to phase out a bit. Then there's another pack, and then this group here with Zeffy from just leading ahead of Spilly and Toez, Aaron and BK, and then myself. But obviously we're keeping in touch here, as I don't think we just see if we can try and make a move here on BK into turn 10. We have a look up the inside here, but yeah, with the superior drive on obviously different compounder tyres. Obviously, BK manages to hang on here, but Zeffy's just managing to hang on in front as well of these leaders in front here. There's a yellow flag in front there, so something's occurred there. Not entirely sure what it was. It might have been the other Haas there. Look on the mini map there from what I saw when I watch this replay back, but I think BK had a little bit of a look there. As you can see coming through turn 9 here, you'll see it's F1 Hawk actually. Must have been caught up somewhere along the line there. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. Spilly, I think, has a look up the inside. Massive dive bomb there, and I think he pushed Zeffy wide. That must have been not overly happy with either the way Zeffy was driving or something else, or just wanted to get past him straight away. As you can see, he's literally pulling away. Now Toes and Zeffy go side by side through into the chicane, and it's a rarity you see two cars going side by side, but they managed to do so. Now it's all going to kick off here. I could just sense that chaos was going to ensure here as Aaron looks every which way here. He doesn't even know which way to go here. As now BK, I think he and Aaron have made contact there. Go down to the turn 1. This is going to end ugly, I can tell. Here's BK and Zeffy. They've made contact and both go off. So somehow we survive all of that. And Toes and Aaron as well. And now BK's retired from the Grand Prix. When I originally saw that, I thought he may have actually just slammed into the wall there and was not overly happy, but don't think that was the case. As you will be able to see here, he might have just retired because he was pretty annoyed with what happened. There's Spilly up the inside. I think Zeffy wanted to fight, but you see Wallachuly off the racing line there. As you can see, there, like I said, there is a little bit of lag. It might be from Zeffy's point of view. Mainly, I don't think it'd be from anybody else here, but like I said, Zeffy's from, I think possibly Indonesia. I don't entirely know, but you see Toes got the move done here, but I'll show you my point of view again with a slow-mo, but you can see Aaron tried the right, then the left, then tried going right again, up the middle somewhere. I think that's where he was trying to aim for here, and then here comes BK up the inside here. They make contact and both go off. Now poor old BK goes Wallachuly off in the end there, and Zeffy in the end doesn't get any front wing damage from all of that, surprisingly. But have a look at this from a slow-mo point of view here. So you can see Aaron trying to go right to the right. Zeffy covers and moves to the left. Now obviously there was a few little arguments after this race about, I think, between Aaron and BK especially, but I think they sorted it out, managed to sort it out. It is a little bit of racing per se. There goes BK, and then obviously the rest is history there. So thankfully we avoided all that carnage, and we're now moved up into position 13 now. So yeah, that was certainly an entertaining part of that race, that's for sure. But anyway, now obviously just trying to settle in. Oh, Aaron getting it very wrong there over the curb there, I think over turn 11, but manages to pull away there, coming through into the slow part of the section here. As they run very wide here. We did try to get the momentum there, but not quite in the end. As a virtual safety car.
Reduce speed immediately and keep a positive delta.
As Aaron, I think, nearly slammed into the back of Toes. Now, I think the virtual safety car was for F1 Hawk, or I think may have just given up completely and just slammed it into the wall between turns 11 and 12. I think, from where it was on the mini-map anyway. But anyway, we didn't really last too long, and we're back racing again. And you can see Aaron putting a lot of pressure on the Red Bull counterpart of Toes. But we'll jump a bit further up the road here, because a bit of a battle brewing here between the two Renault boys. Now, obviously, two corresponding strategies between these two. So, Plebs, I think, may have started outside the 10, possibly. I'm not entirely sure. May have gone for the hard tyre strategy, I'm not sure. But anyway, CurvingTexas, yeah, obviously he gets past his teammate and jumps up into position 8. Does Plebs, but I know for sure CurvingTexas was near me, but started on the mediums, but not entirely sure where Plebs was in the position. But of course, everybody had a free choice of tyres anyway because of the intermediate weather qualifying. So anyway, Aaron, you saw then, has just now made the move on Toes. But now we're trying to close in here, and just losing the back end coming through turn 7 and 8. Just don't know exactly what it was, when I was just getting on the power too early or what. I don't actually know. I was just a bit surprised there, but now we slowly, but we obviously lost momentum, and then we sort of gained it back a bit more later in the lap. Then onto lap 12, you can see with the DRS we make easy mincemeat here of Toes up into P12. We go here now. We can hopefully just try and chase after Aaron, who of course, as you can see, Toes still on the back end of me there with the Toro Rosso, but hopefully we can be able to pull away from him here. But here's Plevs now putting pressure on towards his teammate, Dr. Dre, who's doing a decent job here at the moment, I must say, is Dr. Dre. He's been a bit, I think he's been a bit up and down so far this season, but so far this has been one of his I think best races to date. But like I said, there's a difference of tyre strategies. Plevs on the hards and Dr. Dre's on the medium compactor tyres, so the DRS fully open should be an easy pickings here for Plevs, and he does so, moves himself up into P7. Next up for him is Contrast, who's also started on the hard compactor tyres there. So anyway, we'll cut a bit further on to lap 13 here. You see Toes, start on lap 13 I should say. You can see Toes is still on the back of us here, so haven't quite fully got away from me here. I had to try and break the slipstream from Toes there, just to make sure he didn't get the move done into turn 1, which we have managed to do so here. But I think we're now pretty much almost close to, you can probably see the proximity area, yeah, I think we're now broken away from them there. I think there's a yellow flag behind. I assume that would be for Zephy, whose race has just pretty much gone downhill after that. But anyway, now it's pretty much bang on for the pit stop phase, I think, in this race. So you saw then, I think my teammates now into the pit lane, as well as Jay Schmidt, Swaggy and Zach. So you can see we just managed to get out in front of the leaders there. And obviously we moved ourselves up into P8, but I knew it wasn't going to be too long there. Also, obviously Toes was keeping those guys behind there, but he's now, I think, come into the pit lane, as well as a few others. Spilly, CurvingTexas, Romeo Alonso have now come in as we set our personal best on that lap there. I think it was, let me see if I can remember this right, lap 14. It was a 21, where are we here? Lap 21.7, I think it was. That was our personal best on the hard compactor tyres. But now here comes Zach making his way through, sets the fast lap of the race. Dr. Dre's obviously coming to the pit lane, and yeah, no, I wasn't going to fight this here. We're in two different obviously in two different races here. Obviously started on the mediums and onto the hard compactor tyres. Obviously current race leader, will be race leader once everybody else pits, but not sure it's entirely what that was all about there, to be honest, with Zach, whether he was trying to break the slipstream or whether he made a mistake. But he ran a little bit wide there, did Zach, but he managed just to pull away there. And I was trying to keep in touch with him here, but you can see now I think we're a bit under attack here from Swaggy. It was a bit of an awkward positioning there, going through the final couple of corners there, but we just let Swaggy go through there. Zach sets another fastest lap of the race. You see, we somehow got the DRS. I don't know exactly how we did manage to do that, but obviously I wasn't going to fight with Swaggy there. I mean, like I said earlier with Zach, we're in two different races there. It gets a little bit sideways off the final corner there, but anyway, lap 18 now is, I think, who we got in the pit lane. Aaron has now come into the pit lane there. I think there's still the two in front there. I think it's Contrast and Plevs are still yet to come in, and obviously ourselves as well. But here's a replay on board here with CurvingTexas going into turn 1.
Oh, banana.
That was
I got a 3.
That was pretty bit of an awkward moment there, I think, for CurvingTexas there. I think maybe Banana didn't quite see that banana cake pie I'm talking about. Then maybe didn't see him late on there or something. But yeah, CurvingTexas obviously got a 3-second time penalty. But here's the top two. Obviously, you may have saw then on my point of view that they've come in, so they'll jump onto the medium compounder tyres. And Plevs had to be held a little bit there, so didn't quite get a jump there on Contrast. He gained some ground definitely coming into the pit lane, but may have lost a little bit there. But where's these guys going to pop out after their pit stops here? I think it's going to be P7 and 8, so pretty decent job there. Aaron has obviously jumped way ahead, excuse me, into P9. So pretty decent all round here. As you can see, tyres starting to get on the bit of the average side on lap 20 here. And you see my teammates behind is, I mean, slowly but surely catching up to me here as we're actually going to box this lap here. Pretty much, I think we're the only ones left to make our pit stops here, as my voice is literally going here, so apologies about that one. But anyway, we're making our way into the pit lane here. Don't know what happened with Toddy there. Obviously didn't have quite the pace, because he definitely had the pace with the leaders earlier on the medium compounded tyres, but maybe just doesn't quite have the same pace on the hard compounded tyres at the moment here. But at the moment, he's still on track for a podium here. But anyway, here we go. Onto the medium tyres, and away we go.
Go now.
Nice stop from the Williams boys. So nice 2.5 second stop here.
Okay,
Where we're going to rejoin here, we're going to manage to come out in position 12. So not too bad here in the end. But you can see there's a group of 3 cars ahead. And literally only a couple of spots away from getting into the points.
The gap to the car ahead is 1.8 seconds. They're on old hards. Their tyres are 7 laps old. The time last lap was a 1 minute 22.0.
Yes, it's getting updates on the drivers ahead with Spilly in front on the hards. But what about X Revolution?
Our gap behind is 0.9 seconds. They're on old softs. Their tyres are 4 laps old. The time last lap was a 1:20.2. They have a time penalty of 3.0.
Okay, so Revolution has got a time penalty. Spilly usually keeps it clean in most of the races I've raced him so far, but you'll notice as well that Revolution is on the soft compounded tyres as well. Now, obviously, he came into the pit lane earlier on, and obviously, I think he might have pitted a second time here, but with the amount of laps left in this race, I just thought at this time there was definitely no way he was going to make it to the end of this race unless he pitted late on there. As we set our PB for the time being, it was a 21.0. And we're now started to slowly close in on these guys ahead. And I think CurvingTexas has actually made a move on, I think that's Dr. Dre in the Toro Rosso, if I'm correct in saying. But anyway, we'll jump a bit further ahead now. This is Plebs closing in here on XJ Schmidt, and obviously quite a difference on the compounded tyres here. So I think J Schmidt's trying to chase down Romy Alonso. He gets very wide on the gravel there. And Plebs going to try and run the outside here, and I don't think J Schmidt puts up a fight actually in the end, so up into position 6. So very nice job there from Plebs there. Now he's going to make a move here on lap 24 on Romy Alonso, who's doing a pretty decent job actually in a P5 here. Is he going to go right around the outside? Oh, a little bit of contact between those two. Might have to do maybe a bit of a switchback move here. No, he runs wide in the end, I think. So it manages to hang on, but that was great battling between those two. It may have been a little bit too much, but no, it wasn't in the end. There wasn't any like spins or anything there, but all Dr. Dre getting a bit sideways coming out of turn 10 there. You see he's really under attack here from a Spilly behind. We've still got X Revolution all over the back of us at the moment, but like I said, soft tyres don't really last too long around here, but then I wasn't really phased as we get a little bit sideways coming off the final corner there. But we did lose a bit of ground there to those guys in front there. Spilly has a look up his side of Dr. Dre, and these two go side by side here, but Dr. Dre manages to hang on for the time being, but so you can see they're trying to make a move around the outside. He goes way off the road and he spun it. Oh dear, Dr. Dre, he was doing a decent job as well, but now that's all just gone horribly, horribly wrong. And I think he'll pop in back behind his teammate, I believe. But anyway, back we go to this battle here. He sort of was closing in on Romy Alonso, but now he's a bit under attack here from XJ Schmidt behind here. Thankfully, he's got DRS, but I don't know what it is. There might be a difference in setup-wise because J Schmidt's got some pretty decent straight line speed here. Has a look up the inside, but Plebs manages to outbrake him just that tiny fraction more there, and just manages to hang on for P6. But now we're really starting to close in here. This is pretty much the battle now for the points here because you've got CurvingTexas now, Spilly as well in obviously the final points paying position, and obviously still got X Revolution right up our rear end as well. But again, wasn't really trying to focus on him, even though you can see that proximity arrow getting pretty close there in the end there. But I think Spilly may have a look here as we begin lap 25 here. So we're just on the back end here of the points here. So here goes Spilly. CurvingTexas has got no DRS, obviously no car in front of him here. So there goes Spilly up into P9. So looks like Spilly's got some pretty decent speed on those hard compounded tyres here. So, and I think now he's going to start to pull away here. We still got Revolution annoying us, you could say, a little bit on our rear end there. But now this is pretty much the battle here for the final points paying position here. There's that a little think about it going into turn 10 here, but I played safe for the time being. obviously it's still a long way to go in this race here. So we now obviously got the DRS open again on lap 26.
But remember, we need to get to the end of the race on these tyres.
If you're giving us a lowdown, make sure we get to the end. We have a little look. Not quite close enough in the end at turn 1 there, but obviously I think CurvingTexas didn't have DRS either on that lap, but you can see lap 26 now didn't have quite the greatest of runs here, and I knew he was going to cover down the inside here in the turn 10 there. It was a little bit close to cover. We might have actually ghosted through each other there for a second there, but tried to go around the outside, no can do obviously, but this is probably the closest you can get to the back of that Renault car. And still got Revolution on the back here. I had a feeling his soft tyres were going to die pretty soon here, but I wasn't sure exactly how long. But if he manages to get these softs to the end, he'd be an absolute miracle, man, as we get very, very sideways coming off the final corner there. We lost all my momentum there. Thankfully, we still got DRS to CurvingTexas, and we still managed to stick ahead of Revolution. Thought for a second there I was going to be under attack from Revolution, but thankfully it wasn't to be, and get away with that one. Still managing to hang on just outside the points in P11. Now, back we go to the battle for P5, as I think Romeo Alonso might come under a bit more attack here from Plebs. We're going to go around the outside route here. These two made it work earlier on, but now I think Plebs is going to make the move. Yes, he does, and there might have been actually a little bit of contact there. It's pushed Romeo Alonso off there. May have just been a slightest touch there, or maybe Romeo got a little bit sideways there, but anyway, plays up to P5, but now me and obviously his teammate, CurvingTexas, go around the outside, and now we get ourselves into the points paying position here, but I knew this battle was not over yet, because you'll be able to see, obviously, coming onto the front straight here, he will have the DRS, and obviously it's really pulling away now, so I think P9 is definitely a bit out of the question unless his tyres really die off here, but we tried to break the slipstream here and it didn't really work in the end, so up the inside he goes, and it just keeps us held off there for the time being, so we still go back into, let me start it again. We drop back into P11 once again, but now having another crack here and coming into turn 10 here. I may sound like a broken record, but that's exactly what happened as we try to have braking going into turn 10, which I thought we managed to do here, trying to get the drive through here. So we literally go side by side through turn 11, which maybe the odd couple of times I think I've seen cars go side by side through there, but we do get back up into the points paying position, the last points paying position for the time being. But again, I knew I was going to come under attack here unless he had a shocking exit, which by the looks of things he doesn't. So we're going to be under a bit of attack here, and I obviously was going to really cover him there, but wasn't really any point here because I just knew he was going to try and get back there in the end there, and he goes back up into the points paying position. So we're going to have to try again here. We'll get a bit of an update here on the penalty situation, I think.
They're on old hards. Their tyres are 14 laps old. The time last lap was a 1 minute 22.8. You're falling back by 1/10 a lap. They have a time penalty of 3.0.
Again, okay, so he's still got that 3-second time penalty that he copped early in the race after that little incident with the banana cake pie here. But lap 29, thought about having a go here, but I thought to myself, yeah, after what happened the previous couple of laps here, I thought, no, I'm just going to pace myself here. Just like, that may be one passing spot here, but I think the one we're going to aim for here is probably the one going down into turn 1. And considering the differences, is obviously less corners compared with the two DRS zones. And obviously there is these two DRS zones here, so we're going to make the move down here into turn 1. Now, I don't think CurvingTexas puts up much of a fight here. Up the inside, and we get ourselves back into the points paying position here. I think he tried to do a bit of a crisscross there, but not quite close enough in the end. So I think now we should hopefully have P10 pretty much wrapped up, I think. But I knew for certain that CurvingTexas wasn't going to go out without a fight there, as there's yellow flags behind. I think that's for X-Revolution. So I think his tyres are literally either died or he's going to puncture us, one of the two there. You can see still more yellow flags here. This is just basically him. I think these next couple of clips here, you'll see he's way off the road here. So I dare say he's definitely got a puncture now. But I think we just managed to break the DRS, or managed to obviously stay ahead of the first DRS zone back there with CurvingTexas. Now back to his teammate, Plevs. He's in P5 and going to be under attack here, and he's not going to even bother with putting up a fight here with Aaron, because obviously Aaron will have the DRS and he's easily got the move done. And up into P5 he goes. So nice recovery drive, you can say, for Aaron. And Plevs back into position 6 here. Another lap 31 now. You can see we still got CurvingTexas right behind us here, but we've sort of started to pull the gap a little bit more here. I think now we should hopefully. I think we've got this position pretty much well and truly wrapped up as Revolution is now retired from the race. So I think he was the championship leader possibly coming into this event.
They're on old hards. Their tyres are 17 laps old. The time last lap was a 1:21.3. We're gaining by around 0.2 per lap.
Just checking any penalty situation with Spilly, but there was none in the end. So that's X-Revolution's car off to the left-hand side there. So I'm not sure coming into this event whether he was the championship leader or whether he was second. But anyway, 0 points from the weekend for Revolution. As you can see, Plevs getting a little bit sideways coming out of the penultimate corner there. The penultimate corner, let me get that right. And now he might be under a bit of attack here from J Schmidt. He's still got DRS actually, so he managed to keep it within 1 second of Aaron in front there. So I think you saw there Dr. Dre managed to get the fastest lap of the race, but Plevs manages to hang on in front of that racing point for the time being. And there's Dr. Dre confirming what I said earlier, that he gets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix here. But right now, going to head off now onto the final lap of the GP.
Final lap of the race.
Definitely now broken that 1 second barrier now, so we should be pretty safe here for this final points paying position. And first points pay position, hopefully, if we can get across the line here. And I think we've pretty much kept the clean skin, so we should be on track for our first points since Australia, which has been a fair while between drinks, you could say. So, but we're sticking aboard here because this is actually my fastest lap of the Grand Prix. As I think Crossy now sets the fastest lap of the race. And I think he's way out of the points, so he won't be getting the extra bonus point here. For obviously, if you get yourself inside the points, you'll get the fastest lap of the race. But Zach Crichton goes on to win the Spanish Grand Prix, so from pole to the race victory. So congrats to him. And obviously, it was either
6.7 seconds.
I'm pretty sure he was second in this championship coming into this event, so he'll take the championship lead, I think. So you might have to rewind the video back to the start if I got that completely wrong here. But we go green through the middle sector there, which were about, I think, 7/100ths quicker than on the previous lap. So just giving an absolute all coming across the finish line here. And we're obviously going to finish inside the top 10, and we do set our personal best of the race with our 20.741 there. So pretty decent job in the end there. But this is what happened earlier. Oh, Aaron, I tell you what, coming around the final corner there, he nearly bottled it and coming across the line and nearly lost P5. Well, I did actually lose P5 in the end. Now I'll take that back because of penalties, I believe. So yeah, he could have actually maybe had a bit more of a gap. They may have held on to P6, depending on how much penalties he had in the race there. But there's your podium. So obviously Zach Crichton winning the Grand Prix ahead of Swaggy in P2 in that Alfa Romeo. And Toddy getting his first podium of the season, I think, or somewhere along those lines. I think we'll be able to check it out. Most of the race the results so far. But here's the final results on your screen. So, like I said, Zach Crichton, Swaggy, Toddy running out 1, 2, and 3. Contrast in P4, starting from P11, so pretty decent job there. Plevs in P5. Where else we got? J Schmidt in P6. Got Aaron in 7th. Romy Alonso in 8th. Spilly from 20th up into 9th. So decent job around from Spilly and ourselves running out the top 10. You got CurvingTexas just outside of P11. Toes, Rudy NZ, Banana Cake Pie, Zeffy in P14, Crossy, Dr. Dre, was a lap down. Then you got X-Revolution, BK, F1 Hawk, and Pure Gold were the DNFs for this race. And obviously, Jumbo with the did not start. So, championship-wise, I think it's a 10-point advantage now for Zach Crichton over X-Revolution there. Aaron up into P3, just ahead of Swaggy. Toddy moved up himself into P6. We're sort of keeping ourselves somewhat there. I think we may have dropped a spot there to P11, but we get finally our first points in bloody ages, let me tell you. Mercedes now have a 10-point advantage over both Racing Point and McLaren, who are equal on points there with the 68, and Ferrari, I don't think, didn't move that whole race. I think McLaren and Ferrari didn't actually move. They still stayed on the same points there. Obviously, Racing Point and Mercedes did get some decent points. Red Bull ahead of Alfa Romeo, then got Williams in P7, ahead of Renault, then Haas in P9, and Toro Rosso yet to still score their first points. So there's the overall results so far of the season. And let me just double check if I'm correct. Where's Toddy there in P? Yeah, that might be actually his first podium. He got close, I think, in Azerbaijan, but didn't quite in the end. But obviously, like I mentioned before, our first points since Australia, since we had obviously DNF, missed China, DNF in Bahrain, missed China, and obviously way out of the points in Azerbaijan. But there's obviously the penalty points situation there. Now, obviously, I think I mentioned as well, did I not, in probably one of the last videos? I may have not, but Zeffy did get himself a big time penalty and obviously 4 penalty points there, but we should probably have one penalty point to our name there, but it's not there anyway. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this episode of the Race Spec Pacific Series around Spain. If you did enjoy it, be sure to give it a big smash on that like button. As always, you can leave your comments down below. Subscribe to my channel for plenty more Race Spec F1 Esports on F1 2019, plus plenty more video gaming content as well. As always, all my social media links, they'll be down in the description, plus you can check out the links for the Race Spec YouTube channel. You can check out the replay of the live stream if you want to, with main commentator Expert, as well as their Race Spec's Twitter and Instagram accounts. So they'll be all down in the description below. But yeah, till the next video, which will be the Jewel in the Crown, the Monaco Grand Prix. So till then, it is goodbye, and I'll see you all next time.